Okay, should be happening. And now we just wait for everything to start rolling, as we always do. Okay. Do not fail me. You tricky thing. Okay, yay, we're rolling on YouTube too. Hello. Hello, Richard. And hi to everybody on TikTok as well. Good to see you. I'm still trying to launch everything and fix everything and set everything up, and you know how confusing this is. Hi, Zoe. Hello. How are you guys doing? Every time it's so stressful. All I'm doing is just launching this thing. It's not rocket science. Okay, one day it will be better. Hopefully. Or maybe not. We will see. Okay, let me just wait for a couple more people to arrive, as always. For more people to join us on YouTube. Hello, hi. You guys already know the drill. If you would like to see the screen, if you would like to see the maps and all of this, pictures of Dmitry Medvedev, the former Russian president, who has a lot of things to say. If you would like to see all of this, you can go to YouTube. You see, I put up the little plaque. Hopefully this will make things easier for people, because we get a lot of people confused. But it's also linked in the bio if you're interested, so... the heat is still at you, huh? I'm so sorry to hear it, Loris. I hope it gets better. Honestly, you never know. We've been promised some sort of storm recently. Maybe it will fix things up for us. Who knows? we can just hope for the best, right? As it goes. Good to see you, Helena. How are you? How are you doing? How is everybody? Okay, the map is mapping on YouTube. As always, we're currently looking at the recent advancement on the front line, which we've already kind of briefly, sort of discussed in the past. But yeah, there have been some unfortunate updates to that as well. Oh no, oh, I'm so sorry to hear it. Oh, this definitely sucks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when it's health and horrible weather, it's, yeah, extra awful. Can relate. Same here, very similar. Feel better, okay? Don't let the weather kick you down, kick it back. Oh, God. Okay, no, we're still standing. That's good. That's good, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We're having very low start today. Everything is very nice and chill, which is honestly how I like it, if I'm being honest with you. Hopefully we will not get any crazy people today in the chat. So let's just gradually get into the deets, into the situation, into everything. Thank you. Just a reminder, we have the YouTube plaque up here, right? To those of you who would like to see the map and stuff. And the pictures, including of Medvedev. I know, so exciting. The creature of the night strikes back. So, we are now looking at the parts of the front line that we have discussed before. Actually, during our last stream, some of you might remember, so this is me zooming out a bit to give you an idea of where we are on the map of Ukraine. This is Donbas, this is Pokrovsk area, one of the most heated parts of the front. And last time when we were discussing it, we were looking at this little arrow in this area, and I was saying to you guys how sometimes this could mean something massive, like a massive advancement. Sometimes it could just mean the direction of the Russian advancement. Well, we have had today a confirmation that the village of Shevchenko, which is right at this arrow pointy thingy, it has been occupied by the Russians. So yeah, this arrow actually meant something. And this is just yet another development in the Pokrovsk area, which still remains one of the most heated, one of the most horrible parts of the battlefield. This is in Donbass, and this has been the Russian priority since when? Last November, I want to say. So forever, for ages, it's been going on. And yeah, recently the situation there has been deteriorating. So just immediately wanted to bring this to your attention because, sometimes with all of the politics that we start discussing, all of the politicians, the European Union, Hungary, Slovakia being Hungary and Slovakia, I forget about the most important thing. So today I decided to start with it. Just a reminder, we're also on YouTube, everybody. I know a lot of people do not know that, but we are, and I put the thing up so that you could join us on there and see the map if you are interested in seeing the map. Good thing is we had 2 relatively okayish nights regarding the shellings. Okay, a jump scare warning to those of you who are on YouTube. I hope you are prepared. We're about to see Dmitry Medvedev. I know, and you're never gonna believe what this thing has to say. We're gonna go back. We're gonna get back to you in a second. First, we're gonna discuss the couple of nights in drones. What's been happening in drones? Actually, relatively okay. 64 drones last night, 2 nights ago, and 35 last night, which, if you remember, not bad at all. I mean, it still, of course, caused some damage and some devastation, but it's much better than 400, 500, 600, and so on and so forth as we've had last week. So among the damage, for instance, there was an attack on Dnipropetrovska Oblast. So let me see. Let's go to, this is the city of Dnipro. And the region itself, it's on the both banks of the Dnipro River. So it's quite big. And the left bank in particular is very often under attack because you can see how close to the front line. It's practically the front line already. So the attacks there have been intensifying. 2 people were killed, 11 people were injured in this drone attack, which is awful, as always. What else did we have? We discussed the attack on Dobropille last time. This is in Donetsk region. This is when the Russians hit the supermarket in the town of Dobropille. So for now, so far we know about 3 people dead and 27 people injured. At the very least, I also saw the figure 30 people because it was a direct hit into a supermarket, and it was during the prime time, during the rush hour when people were returning from work. So as you can imagine, a lot of them were just out there shopping, and yeah, this is when the strike had occurred. It was the aerial bomb, so that was in Dobropille. Another attack on Dnipro overnight with 1 person dead and 10 people injured, and everything burning as always. Yeah, and it's not just the drones, not just the regular type of drones. Of course, it's the FPVs, and it's also MLRS. So all of the awful stuff. Thank you. Hello, everybody. We're already chatting about the awful things. And hi to everybody on YouTube. Hi, Deborah and Karen and Annette and Alyssa and Frozen Ghost and Slavic and Direwolf. Hi, guys. Good to see you all. So yeah, a lot of awfulness, unfortunately, as always. And while we're on the topic of awfulness, let's also talk about Kherson. So what I hate most about just looking at the news from Kherson. Wait, where did I just lost it. I was just looking at it a couple moments ago. So you're just scrolling through the news about Kherson, and every 3 news you get information about another human safari FPV drone strike on Kherson. So for instance, today, right, this was from an hour and a half ago in Kherson region. So from the drone attack of Russia, so this is the FPV drone strike, a 47-year-old woman was injured, right? We scroll a little past 5 o'clock. Russian army used FPV to attack a 64-year-old man who is now injured. He has severe injuries. Then we scroll again. Okay, this is actually a good one. They have managed to return some kids from the occupied territory of Ukraine, so that's good. By the way, these are happening all the time. These sort of more minor exchanges, attempts to return the kids from the occupied territory of Russia. So this particular group of kids is from 2 to 17-year-olds, and they're now safe, so that's good. Okay, we keep scrolling. This is some local crime. Okay, 4 people in Kherson area injured because of the Russian shelling and drone strikes. 2 are in the hospital. The other 2 do not need hospitalization. But all of this, right, this continues. You just go through, okay, this is the artillery strike on Kherson. Every couple hours there is more information and attack from MLRS on Kherson. And this is the fire that happened after yet another shelling in Kherson. You can see the firefighters working at the scene. And right before that, so this is July 18th. So 9 a.m., 9 in the morning, a drone attack on a man who was riding his bicycle in Kherson region. The man was killed in that attack. So just continuous non-stoppable horror in Kherson, which is unfortunately has been ongoing for a while now. Yeah, I know everybody. That's just, I guess, to get it over with immediately with Kherson in particular, because it's just too painful, honestly. To those of you who do not remember where Kherson is, it's right here, right? And this is how close it is to the front line, and this is why we're seeing everything that's happening in the city itself and in the region, and part of it is occupied, part of the Kherson Oblast, so yeah, I know, devastating stuff. Hi, Tim. Hi, guys, good to see you, welcome. Hello, good to see you too. Yeah, we're just doing some updates. Tinfoil hat has been lost, unfortunately, to time, and I have just a regular hat somewhere with a shark, but I don't really have any use for it. So yeah, okay, we just got all of the horror out of the way. Let's get to some of the good stuff. The 18th sanctions package from the European Union has been approved. It happened, everybody, yay. We were just discussing last time that it's basically just Slovakia at that point in time that was blocking this package of the sanctions being approved, and it was Fico trying to get some sort of bargain for himself, which he did, apparently, because, yeah, now we have the official notification. This is from Kaja Kallas, so she's saying, we're standing firm. The EU just approved one of its strongest sanctions package against Russia to date. We're cutting the Kremlin's war budget further, going up to 105 more Shadow Fleet ships. This is incredible. Shadow Fleet ships are the ships that the Russians are using to circumvent the sanctions, right? More specifically for their oil trade. They're enablers in limiting Russian banks' access to funding. This was a little surprise to me with the banks, because I was under the impression that all of their banks are already limited and they do not have access to the international payment system. Boy, was I wrong. Okay, well, at least it happened now. So Nord Stream pipelines will be banned. Again, was under the impression that they already banned, apparently not fully. Okay. A lower oil price cap. This is actually very interesting, because we went from $60 per barrel for Russian oil to $47.6 per barrel, which is good. I mean, yeah, and they're also apparently providing some sort of and establishing a dynamic procedure that is going to be applied in order for this measure to actually have effect. So good, okay. You better. What can I say? All right. Putting more pressure on Russia's military industry. Chinese banks that enable sanctions evasion and blocking tech exports used in drones. Interesting too, seeing Chinese banks in this list. I don't think we have seen something like this before. For the first time, we're designating a flag registry and the biggest Rosneft refinery in India. And because of that, actually, interestingly, India has been having something of a meltdown for the last couple of days. Yeah, they're always saying it. They're always saying it's the strongest sanctions of all time, and that's just what they do. That's just what they do. We've already seen that. They actually, interestingly, they started out with this exact terminology. They were saying this about the first ever package and the second package too, that, okay, this is it, this is over. All right. No, it's still good. It's better than nothing. And it's the first time we're seeing any sort of pressure like this applied. Well, like you see the refinery in India, because India is one of the biggest, weakest links, thank you, in the entire Russia evading the sanctions situation. So they've been fundamental and instrumental in helping them out. So yeah, it's good to see something like this happening finally. Our sanctions also hit those indoctrinating Ukrainian children. This, I'm not entirely sure what this is about. Wait, the propagandists, maybe? Okay, we will keep raising the cost so stopping the aggression becomes the only path forward to Moscow. We've already heard that before, right? We all remember that. We've seen that one. We've heard all of these words. But again, it's better than nothing. It's good that they have finally agreed on these things, because they have been debating this in the European Union, for how long? For weeks. And there's been all of these blockages, namely Slovakia and Malta, but not anymore, so that's good. Although Fico gave a statement, he's not particularly happy. This is Fico, jump scare everybody. But yeah, he announced that Slovakia will be freeing the way for the 18th package of sanctions against Russia. But the way he put it, it was actually very interesting. It made it sound as if like, okay, we'll be back. We'll be back for the 19th package, because the 19th package will also inevitably have to come to fruition. And this is when Fico will strike again. And he will also try to make some sort of bargain and get more money from the European Union. Anyway, he also said that Slovakia vetoed the 18 sanctions package a total of 6 times. Like, it's something to be proud of. Oh, this is crazy. Come on. Fico, what are you doing? You're drunk. Go home. So, yeah, but... And so he gave this really vague rhetoric, basically saying that this is no longer in Slovakia's best interest. So he either got what he was asking for from the European Union, or they just scared him for now. It's either that or that. But yeah, wait, where did he say it? He explained that the Slovakian Republic has an approved plan for the promotion of Slovak national interest, the created action team responsible for... Okay, anyway, so yeah, he said that this is all good. This is all good for Slovakia. He's only working in Slovakia's national interest. It would be weird if he said something else. It would be weird if he did, but he will be back. And we will be back at square one when we start discussing the 19th package of sanctions against Russia, as we always do. I have 2 Slovak friends who stand with you. Oh, that's wonderful. I know there's a lot of people, wonderful people, who have been messaging me from Slovakia and from Hungary too, being like, I'm so sorry. And yeah, I especially remember at the very beginning, even, I had messages from people from Hungary being like, we did the Orban, yeah, I know. Indian warship has been in Finland's sea waters. Kick it out. Or what is it doing there? Is it okay? Or is it one of those Chinese ones that keep cutting cables in the sea? Thank you, Douglas. You don't know why they're here. Okay, I don't like that. This cannot be good. No. Tell them to announce themselves, because why do all of these people keep just randomly entering other countries' waters and pretending like it's the way it's supposed to be? Hungary and Slovaks don't really support their governments. Well, in Hungary, actually, recently, I think it's been more and more obvious with the rise of opposition. I'm not entirely sure what's the situation like in Slovakia with opposition, but in Hungary, it's been getting more and more and more obvious. People are visibly pissed off at Orban, which understandable. If you look at everything that Orban has done, everyone was expecting, if you just go back 10 years ago, everyone was thinking that it was going to be Hungary and not Poland, with this insane economic development, that it's going to be, and this is what Poland became. Poland became this miracle on the Wisla, but a lot of people were believing that it was going to be Hungary, and thanks to Orban and thanks to his government, thanks to his crooks, this hasn't happened. Because this is what corruption does to society. It's cancer. Trust us on that. But anyway, so that was good. We have had approval of the sanctions. Actually, there were some deets that I wanted to discuss from this article because Kaya Kallas obviously didn't mention everything in her post. But there are more details to that. I know. Greetings to you too. Hello, everybody who's on YouTube. Good to see you. We're also live on YouTube, everybody, where we're looking at letters and pictures and stuff. So you can also join us on there. The link is in the bio. I made it easier. I just put one link. You can just click on it and you will be on YouTube. I know. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Slovakia also have had large protests. Okay, that's good. But their leader blamed EU. And classic, because of course, who else? It's the main enemy, right? The European Union, Ursula von der Leyen. Okay, so the deets, right? We just talked about this. I think the biggest thing is this price cap on Russian oil, right? So from $60 to 47.6, which is good. They're also prohibiting import of the different oil products from the Russian oil. Okay, with several exceptions. Exceptions are Norway, UK, US, and Canada. All right, okay, fair, I guess. So yeah, this is regarding the Nord Stream. They are prohibiting the transactions regarding the Nord Stream pipelines. All right, and apparently this is supposed to be like the final one. So after this prohibition, there should be no speculation, no conversation about these pipelines being used in the future, because from time to time it emerges. There are still very powerful players within the European Union and of course in Russia too, obviously very much interested in lobbying for this project to return one day. Okay, the Shadow Fleet, 105 ships of the Shadow Fleet. So now we have a total of 400 ships of the Russian Shadow Fleet that have been sanctioned. And also, coincidentally, thank you, Richard, 3 Japanese boats have been excluded from the previous lists. Interesting. Was it a mistake, or did they learn their lesson? But yeah, all of these ships, they come from different countries. It's not just one country that is doing this. There's a lot of them. 400. That's the 400 that are sanctioned. You can imagine how many more there are in total. Okay, so the SWIFT prohibition, 22 Russian banks have been added to this list of the banks that are prohibited to use SWIFT. Again, surprise. I was very, very surprised about this. I thought that they were all prohibited from using SWIFT. No, okay, how naive of me, I know. If only they tried. If only they tried and implemented everything to the fullest, I think we would have seen much better results of everything, but no. Okay, prohibition on transactions with the Russian Fund of Direct Investments, and okay, it was not prohibited. Боже, Боже, Jesus take the will. Okay, 4 more Russian companies sanctioned. Okay. And they're also lowering criteria for sanctions against the financial institutions in other countries. It sounds like something that we have already heard before. It sounds like what we discussed in relation to Trump possibly threatening measures against the third countries in 50 days, right? Maybe, perhaps. Yeah, this is similar, right? So they're lowering criteria against the financial institutions of the third countries who helping Russia to circumvent the sanctions. All right. 26 more companies have been sanctioned, including 11 that are not in Russia. 7 companies are in China, out of them 3 in Hong Kong and 4 in Turkey. Another massive player helping Russia with the sanctions. And yeah, the rest of them are basically trying to help with that. Again, circumventing the sanctions as in for the Russians to purchase the technology and the parts for this reminds me of that machine that they have purchased from Spain, right? The one that is capable of forging their artillery. Anyway, so this is it's supposed to prevent them from purchasing this stuff easily. And this is in particular has to do with the machines that are used to manufacture Iskander missiles. These are one of the most efficient Russian missiles, and they're also the ones that are directly threatening Europe because a lot of their launchers are standing very close to the European borders, and a lot of the Central Eastern European countries could be directly hit with those in case of the direct confrontation between Russia and NATO. And yeah, more export prohibitions. Okay, chemicals, metal, and plastic. Wonderful. So yeah, this is the more detailed list of sanctions and what they mean. Again, have we seen similar stuff in the past? Yes, we have. Can we still be hopeful about this one? Yes, we can. I think we're allowed a little bit of hope, and we're allowed to perhaps have a little. Just teeny tiny sense of that perhaps this will improve the situation, because some of those things, especially the oil price cap, it's pretty big, but we will see. Do you know who's not happy about what happened? You already know who he is. Dmitry Anatolyevich Medvedev. This is him, and he has a lot of things to say, and we're gonna read it out loud as we do. just to get a little taste, a little feeling of the beauty of the Russian diplomacy. Class act that is Dmitry Anatolyevich. Oh well. Yeah, I know. They needed to sanction better to start. I know. Especially 11 years ago. Wouldn't that be incredible if they did? They didn't, though, so we now have to live with what we have. Hello, good to see you, Bet. Okay. Hi Moo and hi Josh. Hello guys, good to see you. So anyway, sorry for the jump scare, everybody. This is Medvedev looking like Gollum. And it's important here because it's important to remember that this is what this creature looks like when he has some things to say. So the classic reaction of the Kremlin whenever something big happens, remember, right? First, you pretend like you don't care, then you deny that it's of any actual importance, then you say, actually, we're gonna benefit from it altogether. So, but this is one of the most telling signs that something big actually did happen, because look, thank you, look how triggered this person is. So this is Dmitry Medvedev, former Russian president. Европейские недоумки, European fools have agreed on the 18th, European fools, pardon everybody, have agreed on the 18th packet of the sanctions against our country. There is no point in writing that this package is capable of changing Russian position just as much as the previous ones did, meaning that the sanctions are pointless, right? The sanctions are pointless. Our economy will, of course, survive, and the defeat of the Banderite regime will continue. This Banderite regime is us, it's Ukraine. This is what they call us. The strikes on the objects of the so-called Ukraine, including Kiev, will be continued, and they will only increase. Okay. We also have to continue the distancing from the European Union. And then he uses so many slurs for pretty much all of the European countries he can think. Okay, so the Baltics get slurs. They're basically, he's questioning their mental capacity, I guess. I don't even know who that is, and I'm too afraid to ask. I'm not going to read this out. Is this a slur? Does he mean the northern countries? Who the hell is Chuhonse? Anyway, with their audacity, then for Poland, he wants to tell Poland that Poland hasn't been divided enough yet, hinting at the previous divisions of Poland. And then he says that the UK has grown over with its own poop. So I'm not entirely sure what that means. It's just too deep into sophisticated of a mind for us to comprehend. And then, interestingly, he mentions Germany and France, but he doesn't call them any slurs. He just says Germany and France, who, according to him, are the Third Reich and the Vichy regime wannabes. Referencing, of course, thank you, Sethers. Referencing, of course, the Nazi times, the Nazi Germany. Okay, of course. How will it end for Europe? It's unknown. We're reading Dmitry Medvedev, everybody, to those of you who do not understand what's happening. He has a lot of things to say about the sanctions. How will it end for Europe is unknown. But we need to remember for as long as we can about their disgusting Russophobia and teach ourselves to hate them as hard as our ancestors did. Interesting, right? Hatred is the most important weapons that allows us to move most efficiently towards its very opposite, love. What? The kingdom of dream and madness, and in the head of one basement-dwelling alcoholic. All right. Of course, in the relation of those who are worthy of our love. And he finishes with a little P.S. He calls Ursula von der Leyen, as always, a disgusting old hag. Mind you, this is the person that is saying this. This is the guy who's calling Ursula von der Leyen a disgusting... You are a disgusting old hag. Do you have a mirror in this basement where they keep you? Oh my god. Okay. And he's younger than her. He's 7 years younger than her. Okay. So he calls her disgusting old hag. And the disgusting old hag Ursula says that the EU hits the heart of the military Russian machine. I'm not sure she understands what the heart is. He was in a very poetic mood, right? He talks about love, he talks about the heart, kokoro. Okay. But she thinks with only one place, and then he makes a joke about female genitalia and the fact that Ursula von der Leyen is a doctor, and it's very funny because women's health is funny. It's like a funny punchline. Yeah, so why have we read this entire thing? Why have we done this to ourselves? Again, this is the first number one guarantee that the sanctions are doing something good, that something big has happened. Because at first when you're going through this list, you might, be like, oh, what is happening? Did it actually have any sort of impact on the Russians? Then you go to Medvedev's telegram and you look at this and you're okay, it did have some sort of impact, I guess, because what was that? And also, look how good Ursula von der Leyen looks. And compare her to that golem that we have just looked at. This is insane. And she was born in 1958. He was born in 1965. He looks disgusting. He looks like he's melting. He needs new teeth and he needs a new face. And he has the audacity to call her all the... I cannot with these people. Just the lack of self-awareness is staggering. I don't know what do I want from him, but remember back in the day we believed that Medvedev was this liberal president, right? That he was this hope for the future, because when he was president he was considered to be this cool and hip guy. He had an iPad and he was wearing pretty jackets, and apparently this was a sign of how educated and liberal he was. And yeah, and this is where we are now. Masks off. Masks are fully off. Yeah, and he's triggered. He's triggered big time, everybody. I know, an ex-president. Hi, Sammy. Sorry, I went on a rant about Medvedev being a disgusting old hag. So, I have a beef with him. I have a beef with all of them. But at least I now understand why he keeps making all of these jokes about, women's health and stuff in relation to Ursula von der Leyen, because she's a doctor. I didn't know that she used to be a practicing doctor. So she just became even cooler in my book, unlike Medvedev. The only thing he's practicing is, I don't know, how many vodka bottles he can empty. So yeah, that's the sanctions, everybody. I cannot with these people, honestly. It's not even propaganda, because you would expect at least some sort of sophistication from propaganda, right? You would expect something that carries a punch of sorts. But this is just pathetic. This is disgusting and pathetic. And it's... okay, well. But people unfortunately still pay attention to it. And yeah, I guess we also have to thank you, because he does carry certain weight. He is an active official in Russia. He's I don't remember what it is that he is exactly. Head of some committee of sorts. Wait, what is he? Okay, let's look up. What is he? Dima, кто ты? Dmitry Medvedev. Дмитрій Анатолійович Медведєв, російський державний політичний діяч. What? Oh, he's many things. Wait, is this active? So he's the vice... What is this? The security... Oh, he's on the Security Council. Okay, he's on the Savbez, but he's not the head. He's the second guy in charge of the Savbez. Okay, it's nothing. All right. Anyway, enough of Medvedev, everybody. That's enough. Enough is enough. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Sometimes I do it better than... And yes, it depends on the day. Sometimes my Russian accent is better than... It depends on the day and the phase of the moon. Heroem Slava. Thank you. This was so weird, and he's particularly so pressed about the UK. They have such a grudge against the UK in particular. Have you noticed? It's always... So with the Baltics, it's understandable in a way, because the Baltics used to be under their occupation, so the Russians have this... The Russian government has this obsession with them, right? And they also think of Poland as their territory, whatever. It's not, of course. But with the UK, it's very particular bitterness, and it's so bizarre to people who do not understand where it's coming from. But they genuinely believe that the entire point of the UK's foreign policy and the meaning of their life and existence is to destroy Russia. Like everything in the United Kingdom. And this is so funny because you guys don't think about them at all, right? You just do not think about the Russians most of the times at all. But they believe, Medvedev thinks that, yeah, you're... wait, we're having an air raid alert across half the country. Did you just see the entire map lit up? Oh my god, is this a MiG? What is happening? No, if it was a MiG, it would be literally the entire country. What is happening? Okay, it's the ballistics. It's the ballistics. The ballistics are flying from Crimea. Okay. Towards Odessa, at the very least, and towards Dnipro as well. From Simferopol. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. From Simferopol and Crimea, there is a threat of ballistics. This is why the map just lit up, everybody. Sometimes when the Russians take their MiG helicopters into the air, then the entire map lights up. Thank you, Scooter. That means that's because the MiG-34... wait, is this a helicopter? Is it a plane? I don't remember. MiG carries the Kinzhal. Okay, it's a plane then. It carries the Dagger missile, and with the daggers, then it's immediately the alert across the entire country. But apparently the ballistics are now not for everybody. It has changed. It used to be... I think it used to be like a year ago, maybe? When did it change? When there was a ballistic threat, also the entire map would light up, but okay, not anymore, I guess. All right, thank you. I know. Europe has been around a lot longer than the Americas, yet they still fight like children. Why? Do you mean Russians by the Europe? Because Europe as a continent, as of recently, has been okay for the last couple decades. It was more or less stable before the Russians started with the, whatever that is. So that was kind of the point, right? Everybody was thinking, yeah, we've been through this. We've been through the horrors. We've already, we've been killing each other enough, and we've committed enough of atrocities. Let's move on, maybe. But then someone said, let's not actually move on. Let's continue with the horror. And yeah, to those of you who are just joining, we're also live on YouTube, everybody. This is the YouTube link. It's also in the bio. You can see the map lighting up and Medvedev being disgusting. Unfortunately, their propaganda in the UK is very successful. Yeah, they definitely can brag some successes in certain countries. They are working with already existing divisions in the society and already existing problems, and then they amplify them, just like any enemy would. there is this misconception about the propaganda that it's just like some, myth and legend that they create from nothing, and it's ludicrous and it's so easy to fight off. No, very often, more often than not, they're exploiting the very real problems in the society, and then they amplify them. They do the same thing to us as well. When there is the most successful Russian propaganda that's tackling Ukraine, that's aimed at Ukraine, it exploits the problems that we already have within the country. So actually, we're going to talk about this during our deep dive. Remember the deep dives? Yeah, there's going to be one about propaganda because Patreon voted for that. It's probably going to be sometime next week. I'm not the biggest fan of... Thank you. I'm not the biggest fan of von der Leyen and don't agree with her in many things, which is normal. You should always be critical of your politicians. But I would not use words... No one would use words like Medvedev. No one in the right state of mind. Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you. Appreciate it. No one who has any sort of dignity, any sort of intellectual ability, self-respect, respect for the people around them. No one would use words like this. It takes a very specific type of vermin to communicate with the world in such a manner. And yeah, this is what he's showing. He has been successfully cosplaying as the cool liberal guy, just like a lot of them in the Kremlin were. And some of the people actually bought into it. But recently, all the masks have been off. And they're they're unabashedly themselves, right? Baby, you were born this way. In the worst way imaginable, in the worst way possible. Okay, let's see. Do we guys think, to those of you who are on YouTube, do you think our region will also light up? Or is it gonna be this way? Will the missiles make it here? Place your bets. Oh, God, I hate it. I hate it so much. The one with us, yeah, it started in 2014 with the annexation. The Russian aggression against Ukraine started in 2014. Before that, there was the Russian aggression against Georgia in 2008. Before that, there was Chechnya, which everybody largely dismissed because they believed that it was their business. But also you can see how it's been sort of, right, escalating. But the same rhetoric still is applied to all of the situations. So, like with Chechnya, it's their region, it's their business. Georgia, it's kind of in their orbit, right? It's their region, I guess, anyway. Ukraine, you still hear the same rhetoric, but thankfully, this time response was significantly better. But yeah, it keeps happening. Before that, there was Transnistria in 1992. So, if you actually look at it, there was never a break. Not really. But yeah, it has escalated in 2022, of course. Yeah, I know, it sucks. It sucks. Hopefully it won't. I'm just being silly, as I do. Also, interestingly enough, we have had some more interesting statements from various officials about the weapons that they might supply to Ukraine. How fun is that? So this is German Chancellor Merz. He announced the apparent the possible supply of the long-range weapons to Ukraine. So yeah, he stated that in the recent days they agreed that the new Patriot air defense systems will be supplied to Ukraine, and the United States will replace them with its allies. So also we have now gotten a better clarification on how this Trump's new scheme of things, how it will be working. So the Europeans, I believe, will be giving us their systems and the US will be replacing them. And he also said that we would soon receive long-range systems. This is yet another example of this constant back and forth that has been happening. We haven't been paying as much attention to the German rhetoric on this stream. We've been paying more attention to Trump. Unfortunately, it's a very unfortunate common trend among everyone globally, I'm afraid. But they have been doing the same thing. As in, we've already heard so many times the entire argument with the long-range missiles, whether won't they, going back and forth, I don't know, 5 times at least, at the very least, from what I can remember. So at first there was yeah, we might. No, at first it's Germany. What am I talking about? It was no, no weapons at all. The helmets and stuff. Then we went from the helmets to other type of 2 weapons. Then we went to more advanced type of weapons, and in particular, the rhetoric started to change after some of the Russian war crimes in the deoccupied Kyiv region were uncovered. So we went to the weapons, and then it started to go up and up and up. And the recent part of this was whether or not we will receive the long-range missiles from Germany. So one day it's yes, the other day it's no. One day it's yes, the other day it's no. This most recent one, yes, he's saying that it's a yes. Will it change? Who knows? Anyway, we have agreed in recent days, this is a quote, that we will put new Patriot systems from the from Europe as a whole, and these systems will be replaced by the United States, he said on July 17th during his visit to the UK. After all, we must also support our own defense capability. Duh, understandably so. According to him, the defense ministers will discuss technical details in the near future. Anyway, yeah, it's not a matter of hours. We already understand that. It's a matter of days, maybe weeks. And Ukraine will soon receive long-range systems. He said that during his current visit, he discussed in detail with British Prime Minister Starmer the issue of military support for Ukraine, not only air defense, but also Ukraine's ability to defend better with the help of long-range systems, so the possible strikes deeper into the Russian territory. Ukraine will soon receive significant additional support in this direction, including through industrial cooperation, which we started with Ukraine. That's this whole, remember, Build with Ukraine project, it was called. This is the military cooperation between us and various partner nations. But Ukraine will receive much more support in the upcoming weeks and months. And no more details were disclosed, which is good. This is actually a good thing. I like it when they don't disclose, thank you, too many details, because we've already talked about this. Previously, too much information has been disclosed, and this has helped the enemy. This is not, a fun little gathering. It's not a picnic. I also thank you. This is a war, and perhaps it's best to not reveal everything about the systems you're planning on supporting and when you're planning on supplying them at once. How about that? I know, crazy thought. And recently they have actually agreed that this tactic, perhaps, is the best one. And yeah, maybe let's not announce everything that's happening on Twitter all the time. But yeah, just to add to the Medvedev's meltdown, I imagine. So we'll see. Will he also write another rant about Merz? Will he accuse him of being a gynecologist as well? Who knows? And while we're on the topic of Europe defending itself, we also had more statements regarding what we have already discussed, the possible two-front conflict with Russia and China. This time it comes from the US commander in Europe. We're going to look at this in a second. Let me just catch up with all of you and what you are saying, if you're saying anything, because I think I've missed some things, as I always did. Kazakhstan next. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. Kazakhstan is difficult in the same sense that Ukraine turned out to be difficult, as in it's really big. It's much bigger, actually. So I am not exactly sure if that would be an easy victory for them. And also, again, we've talked about this before. My main idea, I don't know, call it conspiracy, call it whatever, but we've already had several confirmations from several NATO officials on the matter, basically affirming that it's Beijing that's going to be pulling the strings behind the next attack. And if that's the case, then no, it's not going to be Kazakhstan. It's too close to them. They wouldn't need that. They would need all of NATO distracted somewhere that is much more important. I can confirm, as a normal person in the UK, we hate Putin. Thank you. I think it's common sense. But yeah, I understand that the propaganda has been working. It's been working nonstop. It's not going away. It's capitalizing off of your existing divisions. It's capitalizing off of the Ukraine fatigue and everything. And recently it has been changing. It has been shape-shifting, unfortunately. But I think anyone with common sense, anyone who has had their eyes open in the last couple of years, understands what we're dealing with and what is looking straight in the eyes, staring at us. Thank you. Thank you for the support. It's appreciated. Thank you. It's still hard to say. Still hard to say how TikTok responds to what activity, but it's all appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, it was Bucha and Irpin that made all of the headlines, but there were so many more. Pretty much everywhere they were stationed, there were mass graves and torture chambers and people executed. So, yeah, various stages of brutality. We all remember that, unfortunately. What are your thoughts about Sveredenko? I really want to be excited about about these changes in the government. We've had a few changes. She's one of them, but it's a bit challenging because I am at this point, I guess, in my cynicism, where I believe that no new appointment will help what is essentially a much more fundamental issue. And we just need a more in-depth reforms and not just, changing people. But maybe I'm just being pessimistic. I've seen a lot of people excited about this appointment. A lot of people excited because she's a woman, which is, we already had a prime minister who was a woman, and it didn't do anything for us because she was Yulia Tymoshenko, and many of you might remember who that is, the she-devil. Yeah. But no, a lot of people are very happy about this. I've seen people genuinely inspired by her appointment, so thank you. A lot of the information has already been put out in the news or other sources. Regarding what? Regarding the aid, regarding the weapons. It's not everything, interestingly. A lot of the things are being omitted, and it's not just about the types of weapons. And there are ways in which, we know when something happens. I'm obviously not going to go into the detail, but people talk, people hear things, so yeah, sometimes nothing is happening in the news, but we know that it's actually the very opposite situation on the ground. And also regarding the strikes, something that I had no idea about is that apparently they're much more intense than we have thought on the occupied territories and on the enemy territory. Because there are reports in the media from time to time about, a drone hit, a manufacturing some sort of like military industrial complex plant in Russia, all right? But they almost never cover the whole situation. It's always just bits and pieces. And whenever I talk to the people from the occupied territories, I get all of these confirmations about way more strikes and way more hits, and a lot of them being very successful. And it's not even making it into the news here. So there's so many things happening behind the scenes because I think one of the reasons for this is just too many things quite literally happening. Not everything can make it, even into the 24-hour news cycle. No, it's impossible. It's just impossible to cover everything. But people talk. And anyone who knows people from the occupied territories will tell you that, oh boy, much more is happening. There's a lot of different types of weapons that are being used. And thank you, Dana. Hi. Don't be sorry. Come on. Wait, who mentioned Meloni? Georgia. I don't know. I don't think we have any Italians in the chat, but if we do, I'm sure they would be they're usually very emotional about her. All right, let's briefly look at this. This is on theme regarding what we have been discussing before, right? The possibility of this two-front confrontation with Russia and China. This is the guy that we're going to be discussing, General Alexis Grinkevich, American, clearly, I believe, of Ukrainian origin, or maybe of Polish, honestly, or maybe of Belarusian. Oh, who knows? Anyway, he's from somewhere here, his ancestors were. And anyway, the US-led NATO alliance must prepare for the possibility that Russia and China could launch wars in Europe and the Pacific simultaneously, with 2027 being a potential flashpoint year, the top American command in Europe said Thursday. So speaking at a meeting of military and defense industry leaders Vice Baden said the situation means allies have little time to prepare. We're going to need every bit of kit and equipment and munitions that we can in order to beat that. If China's President Xi Jinping makes a move on Taiwan, he likely would coordinate such an attack with Russian President Vladimir Putin, opening the possibility of a global conflict, what we have discussed before and what the Rutte warned about as well. That to me means that both of these things could happen together, said Grynkevich, who also serves as NATO Supreme Allied Commander. His remarks came during a U.S. Army Europe and Africa hosted conference where military and industry leaders are seeking ways to ramp up weapons production across the 32-nation NATO alliance. Grynkevich, just weeks on the job as the top military officer in Europe, also said that NATO efforts are underway to get more Patriot systems into Ukraine. I'm not going to reveal to the Russians or anyone else the exact numbers of weapons. Thank you. Thank you for that, General, sir, that we are transferring or when those will happen. But what I will say is that preparations are underway, he said. Good. Please do not give us any details. Anyway, he also said he also will be convening with NATO military leaders in the days ahead to look for other ways to ramp up support for Ukraine, particularly in the area of air defense. We're going to move as quickly as we can on this. NATO's push to get more, we already know about NATO's push to get more air defense systems, right? Everyone is talking about this these days. It's almost as if we've been talking about these for months. Remember how Zelensky talked about this and everyone made fun of him and called him stupid? Yeah, I remember that. Anyway. So yeah, this is the pictures from the conference, but I think this is the fourth statement like this that we're hearing in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, it seems, more and more real with every passing day that this attack is going to be coordinated, and it's absolutely horrifying. Christ. Okay. Anyway, let me see. You guys are still. Thank you to everyone who's on YouTube. This is YouTube. It's also linked in bio if you are looking for it and you cannot find it. A lot of the info. Okay, I've already seen that. Other reforms on the horizon should the war end tomorrow. I don't think anyone is looking at this as a possibility, as in the war ending tomorrow. Everyone is preparing for the war to last for years and maybe even longer. And yeah, no one is doing any reforms. In fact, one of the articles that I currently have is about Zelensky being accused of authoritarian slide. But this is something that has been happening. And a lot of people have been pointing out, I wouldn't call it necessarily the authoritarian slide, but yeah, the situation regarding everything that had to do all of these very suspicious actions against, in particular, the anti-corruption activists. Yeah, that has been disturbing. TikTok, what do you want from me? He once again wants to kick me out for not being active enough. What am I supposed to do? Do you want me to dance, TikTok? I'm not gonna dance. I'm not Edison Ray. Yeah, let's wait and see. Regarding Sviridenko, let's wait and see. Sorry, I'm a bit behind as always. What are your suggestions for making things better? We need a judicial reform. We need a real judicial reform at any cost. And we need it for yesterday. This is what we need. We need the functioning courts. This is the only answer. Because when I was looking at all of these different countries and how they were, trying to get their business in check and trying to tackle the corruption, I think the case of Singapore was the one that kind of reminded me of us in a way. And this was the thing that saved them, pretty much. It was this hardline approach to courts, appointing the judges and getting your judicial system in check. Oh, that would be wonderful. But also, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I've been saying this for years. And yeah, so far, unfortunately, nothing has been happening in this direction. Nothing has been moving. I mean, you can count the assassination of this one corrupt guy who was apparently a handler of all of our courts. He was assassinated, 2 months ago in Madrid. Those of you who are on Patreon saw the video about that. His name was Portnov. And he was like the guy that all of the oligarchs would go to sort their business out in the courts, because he had all of these pocket judges. And when he was assassinated, a lot of people were like, is this the beginning of the judicial reform? Hi, Dave, thank you. No, it wasn't. So far, nothing. He was assassinated, and this was it. So, I know. Wait, what happened? What? There was an argument. What? Okay. Please, everybody, let's not do this. There's already too much drama happening in the world. Freedom of speech. What did just happen? Okay, let's just... I don't know what I wanted to say something wise, and I couldn't. Let's behave, okay? That's my message, I guess, to the chat for now. Anyway, so while I was on this topic, this was the article in the Financial Times, and yeah, this is the discussion that has been happening recently surrounding these very questionable raids that have been happening in Ukraine as of recently, and it caused a lot of criticism of Zelensky and his aides from everywhere, from the international community, from the activists within the country, from the media outlets within the country, from a lot of people. Anyway, and yeah, the main criticism boils down to, I wouldn't put it this way, that it's not necessarily that. But in this article, he quoted, who is this? It's Christopher Miller. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're taking everything he says with a gigantic grain of salt, but he blames it that they're using extraordinary powers granted under martial law to sideline critics, muzzle civil society leaders, and consolidate control. The outcry has grown since masked, heavily armed officers from Ukraine State Bureau of Investigation forced their way into the home of prominent anti-corruption campaigner Vitaly Shabunin in Kharkiv last Friday, seizing phones, laptops, and tablets. This was, I think, the most major escalation in all of this. There have been previous, like Zelensky's beef with Poroshenko. This is our former president and our current, I guess, the leader of opposition, if you can call him that. They have had this ongoing beef for a very long time. But this one with Shabunin in particular, because Vitaly Shabunin, I think, is the most famous Ukrainian anti-corruption investigator and activist, and he has been very critical of a lot of the things that have been happening in the Ministry of Defense, a lot of the things that have been happening in Zelensky's government, but he made it very clear that him and the Bureau of Anti-Corruption Investigations, they would make a point out of not taking anything public before trying to handle it in private with the officials. But yeah, apparently after a while this became too much. And he was detained. His laptops were seized and the phones and everything. And also, it was also very petty because his kids' laptops were taken as well. And also there were searches in the apartments where he was staying briefly. And one of those apartments actually belongs to a mother we discussed this pilot who died during training, Andriy Pilshikov, Juice. And this was their apartment in Kharkiv, and Shabunin was staying there very briefly, and that was already enough of a reason to conduct searches there. So it's just very ugly and very unpleasant and very clearly motivated by attempts to silence him. So of course it caused a lot of conversations in the country. Anyway, so Shabunin labeled the raids as politically motivated, adding that the Sorry, I missed. What was I saying? That the SBI had presented no court-issued warrants and would not allow time for their lawyers to be present for the searches. So very, very ugly. And he also told the Financial Times, but he said this before to other media outlets as well, Zelensky is using my case to send a message to two groups that could pose a threat to him. The message is this: if I can go after Shabunin publicly, under the scrutiny of the media and despite public support, then I can go after any one of you. So, yeah, the first group are journalists or activists exposing corruption. The second group is military personnel, because the charges against me relate to my military service. And yeah, this was one of the main reasons for the attacks against him. This is him, by the way. If you are currently on YouTube, this is Vitaly Shabunin. He also has a Telegram channel, to those of you who are using Telegram, but everything he posts is in Ukrainian. Wait, do I have him? I think yeah, that's him. So he usually posts about the situation. Like his last post on the situation, he says, still democratic, but already hybrid regime with elements of authoritarianism or kleptocracy, depending on what the motivation of the elites is. This is his latest characteristic of what has been happening. So, yeah. This is the name of the political systems under which the prime minister refuses to follow the rule of the law. Yeah. Anyway, and this is him I think this was him after he got detained. Yeah, just very, very, very ugly stuff, everybody. And it's been happening for a while. I'm gonna make a more detailed video about this for my monthly Main from Ukraine video on Patreon, if you're on there. Because there's a lot of things I would like to add. Because this made me really, really angry. Extremely angry and really, really hopeless. Oh well. Oh my god, the drama continues. What did I miss? All speech is free speech. Do we have some free speech champions? Thank you, Papa Dan. I appreciate you. Appreciate you watching. Okay, no one has anything to add regarding that. Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, if you would like to read the full article, it's on Financial Times. This article, it's okay. It's Christopher Miller. He's something of a controversial figure in Ukraine. Thank you. Because he has spent basically his first part of his career, like the journalistic career in Kiev, before 2022, trying to find, I guess, all of the Nazis and accusing us of Nazism constantly. And this created something of a reputation for him. And after 2022, thank you. Yeah, of course, he immediately changed his tone and he was, Ukraine, go Ukraine. And then he wrote a book about how he met the war in Kiev. So, yeah, just not a very solid character, let's put it this way. But the situation overall is pretty disturbing, and I hate to see it unraveling. Anyway, just to get this out of the way, and we were just discussing how NATO must be ready for the conflict with Russia and China. While we're on the topic of that, regarding the being ready for war, we have this article from AP. Retired army officer in the US news pleads guilty to sharing classified info on Russia-Ukraine war on a dating site, everybody. Yes, Russian honeypots strike again. This is an article from July 14th, but I only recently saw it. So, a retired army officer who worked as a civilian for the Air Force has pleaded guilty to conspiring to transmit classified information about Russia's war with Ukraine on a foreign online dating platform. How many times has it happened by now? I think there are already several leaks exactly like this. David Slater, 64, who had top secret clearance at his job at the U.S. Strategic Command, the Air Force Base in Nebraska, pleaded guilty to a single count before a federal magistrate judge in Omaha on Thursday. In exchange for his guilty plea, 2 other counts were dropped. Incredible. I cannot handle this. What? And this is just, you're not even at war yet. How many of these people are gonna be out there doing this nonsense when the actual war starts in your countries? Oh my god. Oh well. Slater had access to some of the country's most closely held secrets. John Eisenberg, Assistant Attorney General for National Security, said in a statement, access to classified information comes with great responsibility. Yeah, we see. David Slater failed in his duty to protect this information by willingly sharing national defense information with an unknown online personality. It wasn't even a woman, most likely. It was a catfish. It was some fat FSB guy named Vasily. Yes, honey, I love you so much. Please share the intelligence with me now. And I will send you the AI picture of a naked lady. And I will pretend that it's me. Like, what? Okay. He attended briefings about the Russia-Ukraine war, because of course he did. And then, he just registered at the foreign dating websites, messaging platform, and shared everything. She claimed to be a woman living in Ukraine, everybody, so that's okay. This is fine. The information, no accent, the information classified as secret pertained to military targets and Russian military capabilities, according to the plea agreement. Just, I think a little note, I guess. If a woman or someone who pretends to be a woman approaches you and asks you to share the secret classified data with her on this messaging website for dating Eastern Europeans. Hi, Krampus, good to see you. Do not do it, please. Most likely this is not a woman, and she might have some ulterior motive. Thank you, Zoe. Oh, Christ. Lordy. No. Why? I cannot do that. I think I even know the type of website this is. Because I remember when I was in high school, there were all of these Americans in their 50s and 60s flying all the way to Ukraine, trying to find like male brides, basically. And there was this girl that I knew who really she was really considering getting married to some 60-year-old guy from Texas. And so it's these websites that facilitate this. I'm not surprised about that. But please, if you have any classified information, do not share it with your male brides. I'm begging. Oh well. I know, right, Sue? Can you imagine? Just I know. And this is such an old trick. I think it's one of the oldest tricks in the book. It's been happening for how long? Ever since this type of stuff was created. Okay, we already had the air raid alerts turning off in several regions of Ukraine. The belt, not really the Bible Belt. We don't have the Bible Belt in Ukraine, but we have several regions that no longer have it. But the south is still lit up, if you're looking at the map right now, and so is the north and northeast. Okay. She didn't tell me she was a Russian spy, Your Honor. Exactly, right? How was I supposed to know? It was just a lady. You know how the ladies are on all these dating websites, always wanting to know your classified data. That's like top 3 things women ask men on dating sites, right? Your height, how much money do you make, and do you have any information on the US military capabilities and the NATO bases in Central and Eastern Europe? Oh, oof. As a Texan, yeah, that sounds about right for some people, sadly. I know. I'm sorry for all of us that this is a thing. It used to be pretty big. I don't know how big it is right now. I know for a fact that the Passport Bros, you guys know the Passport Bros, of course, they have been pretty disappointed to Ukraine. They're afraid of coming to Ukraine because of the war. I know they've been disappointed in Poland in particular. I've been reading some discussions on all these like Passport Bro forums. Don't ask me why. And they were, there's a lot of people very disappointed in the nation of Poland because what do you know? Polish women apparently now know better. They're westernized and ruined. And also there was some really disgusting conversation regarding the when they talk about us, they talk about us in the context of, all of the men are gonna die, right? And we're just gonna get all the women for ourselves, stuff like this, which is like, ugh, that's gross, Stephen. No, you're not getting anyone with attitude like this. But yeah, anyway, we haven't talked about Trump in a while. It's time to change that. So yeah, apparently they're now discussing some new agreement on arms supplies in exchange for our drones. Because what do you know? Everyone has realized that the drones are the weapons of the future, and that everybody needs a lot of the drones. We're currently looking at this is, I think, one of the cutest drones that we have. This is the Shark drone. So yeah, this was really interesting to learn, because I was under the impression that at least some of the most innovative things that we're doing have been at least inspired by the West, if not directly imported from the West. But now apparently we have some things to offer. Okay, why not? So we are now considering, the United States and Ukraine are considering the possibility of signing the agreement that will allow Ukraine to supply, that will allow Ukraine to get US weapons in exchange for Ukrainian drones that were already tested in combat. So we already discussed how all of these, a lot of the weapons that are being sent here, a lot of the weapons that are being developed specifically for here, for this type of war that we're having here, they're being tested on the battlefield. We have had cases of the weapons, in particular drones, being sent to us that did not really show themselves too well on the battlefield. So we've been, I think we've talked about this in the past, but it just makes sense, I guess, in a way, that this will be the next step. The source for this is, it's the New York Times. Okay. It's the New York Post. It's not the New York Times. Okay, then we're just gonna take it with a grain of salt, because it's the New York Post. But yeah, and also it has the word mega in it. Mega deal, because it's Trump. But it makes sense, right? It makes sense, because remember last time, we actually didn't get to it, I think a couple streams ago, but Pete Hegseth made this massive announcement to Metallica song that later got copyrighted, by the way, and they had to replace the song in the video. But he made an announcement that the US is going to manufacture thousands of drones, and it's going to be incredible. It's the age of drones. And so something like this coming right after this makes, like, an announcement about drones from Ukraine makes a lot of sense, coming after the announcement that the US is going to concentrate on the drones. Anyway, so who are they quoting? Okay, they're quoting Zelensky. Okay, I think we can trust him on that, at least. Speaking exclusively with the Post. Why are you speaking to them? Yeah, okay, no, I'm not angry. I'm not angry at Zelensky. There are already too many reasons to be angry with him. Let him speak to the Post. Speaking exclusively with the Post on Wednesday, Zelensky revealed that his latest talks with Trump focus on a breakthrough deal that would see the US and Ukraine prop up each other's aerial technology, with Kyiv offering to share everything it's learned about modern warfare in the 3-year conflict with Russia. Okay, so it's not really sealed yet, is it now? But it would make so much sense, though. It should be. It should be a deal, and it should be a deal not only with us and the US. It should be a deal with us and I think the Europeans as well. For Europeans, I think it's of utmost importance, considering what they're facing in the upcoming couple of years. Anyway, the deal could be transformative for the US military and national security, with officials and drone experts warning that America's technology lags far behind Russia and China. Okay, questionable. I think it's mostly about quantity. The quantity, it's the problem, not the quality. And American soldiers are ill-equipped to use the UAVs or defend against the types of devices being produced by adversaries, which is actually true. And I've heard some interesting testimonies regarding that from our soldiers who are getting trained in the NATO countries, in particular in the United States. They were quite surprised by how little attention was paid during the trainings to the very idea of the usage of the drones. This was from, I think, about a year ago, and our side they were very confused. They did not understand why it's not being included in the doctrine at all. So hopefully it's changing now. The people of America need this technology and you need to have it in your arsenal, Zelensky told the Post of Ukraine's latest drones, which have been able to penetrate Russia's defenses to take out heavy bombers and strike as deep as 800 miles over the border. Okay, so it's Zelensky who said the mega deal. He used the word mega deal. He is really becoming fluent in Trump speak, everybody. He knows how to get to the guy. Okay, so that's neither here nor there, but we will see. It sounds like something that could potentially make a lot of sense. All right. That's just something interesting. Food for thought, everybody. Used to watch you way back when the war started with my girlfriend. She's gone now. What's up? Wait, is she okay? Do you mean she's gone as in... What? Oh my god. I'm sorry. Oh. Laura says, me too as a gay man. When I'm dating men, I first ask how much money they have and do they have any connection to the military. Oh, well, honestly, this makes much more sense considering how many people genuinely believe that people in the military are a red flag. This is like the first thing that if you ask someone who's the biggest red flag, everyone immediately says people in the military. I think it's like an international thing. Although here it's not really that. I think it's the other way around, but we have a different situation. All right, what else did I want to discuss? Let me open. I think, Macron. Macron talked to Zelensky, of course. Everybody's talking to Macron, everybody. Mega deal. Oh, hi, Hannah. Hello. Mega deal, the deal bigger than the likes of the biggest deal ever known. Mega deal, everybody. Yay. MAGA, Mega, Mega, and the rest of them. You know the club. You know what it's like. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Right? Yeah, I know. Did you hear about Trump's diagnosis? Yeah, I did. First, I saw the picture of his ankles a couple days ago, and I was really triggered by this. I was like, I'm not gonna look it up, you guys, just for the sake of your mental health. We're not looking at Trump's ankles. And also those of you who are American, I think you're probably getting bombarded with pictures of his ankles now, and with his diagnosis and everything. But yeah, first I saw the picture of his ankles next to a teeny tiny bottle of Diet Coke, and that was very disturbing, and I didn't like what I saw. And then, yeah, the next thing we know, it's this diagnosis that's coming in. But it makes sense. He's like 1,000,000 years old. I know they market him as, young, whatever, dynamic guy, young man, and but we all know that he is not. No matter how much they try to paint him orange and make him dance and, pretend to be cool by posting on Truth Social or whatever it is that they're doing, everybody understands that he's of a certain age and he's not the healthiest guy around. He probably has, like, Big Macs in his blood flow. So, anyway, Macron talks to Zelensky, the good old European global tradition. If something goes wrong, you call Macron, French President Macron, and you talk to him. And and then things don't necessarily get better, but at least you talk to someone. So they talked to, once again, the reinforcement of the Ukrainian air defense and also training the pilots to fly the French Mirage planes, which is yet another plane that we apparently now will be flying. So not just F-16s, but also the Mirage and also the Swedish ones. I forgot the name for those. So yeah, they talked for about an hour, but Zelensky and Macron love each other. Let me show you. Zelensky, Macron. There are some incredible pictures of them. For those with eyes to see, look at them. I think this is the most famous one. To be fair, almost every global leader has a picture with Macron, which is exactly like this. I myself get about 5 edits of Macron with Keir Starmer and pretty much anyone Macron meets. and it's all these like, romantic lovey-dovey edits. But I believe that his connection with Zelensky is different. It's very special. Everything about this picture is perfect. The way Macron is whispering in his ear, the way Zelensky is staring into the camera, how they're holding their hands, incredible. 10 out of 10. I would read the hell out of that fanfic. Anyway, I know, right? They're just meant to be. I cannot wait for when they become official. Don't you think that Melania just says ick every time she has to get... I think by this point in time she's used to it. And also, let's be real with ourselves. It's not like he was that different when they got together. It's not like he looked like who's a very handsome man. He wasn't, Louis Garrel, so... not exactly. Or, okay, this is probably not the most universal example. Who does everybody think is a very attractive man? The new Superman guy, right? Everybody thinks he's very hot. Not really that. Donald always had this very peculiar look to him. So yeah, I think she knew what she was signing up for. Anyway, so Zelensky and Macron being had a chat. Wonderful that we talked about they talked about training of the pilots, all of the key things regarding the needs of the army. They talked about the reinforcement of the air defense, the rockets for the SMP systems, and also money for the interceptor drones. So this is also part of the air defense reinforcements. And yeah, so just a good talking with Emmanuel. France is ready to take more of our pilots for training and provide more additional planes. Always good, we love us some planes. So yeah, good talking with Volodymyr and Emmanuel, everybody. Anyway, oh God, what is this picture of Yermak? Jesus. Now this is all regarding these internal scandals that we have to deal with in the last couple of weeks. But at least he looks cute with Macron, so. All right. I'm just in a good mood, Vindictus. Whenever I'm in a good mood, I start saying a lot of nonsense, and some of it hits and some of it misses. I never know. Okay, what else haven't I discussed? His hand looks like a mortician sword. Oh my god. Eats McDonald's. The mega ankles. How did I miss that move? Oh my god. The mega ankles. Yep. I know, right? And he is Biden's age, but they made it look... I mean, props to his PR team, I guess, because they made it seem as if Biden was like a million years older than him, when in reality they're both equally geriatric. Okay, we have already... What? Oh, thank you, Daydreamer. Hi! Who is that? Thank you. Appreciate it. God bless Trump, says Made Guy, American flag. 45 and 47. Are you trying to trigger me with this? I'm not even American, buddy. Я навіть не з Америки. Я не знаю, на що ти намагаєшся це зробити. This is so weird. And it's also such a silly thing to say. He's gonna live for as long as he lives, don't worry. Don't worry. The bullet didn't take him, all of the hamburgers didn't, so yeah, he's gonna be with you for some time. Don't worry about it, Made Guy. Made Guy. It's like such an interesting nickname. You could be a host in a Japanese host club with such a name. Anyway, hi Brittany, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm scared of what the EU would be like after Macron. You mean France or EU in particular? I mean, they're trying to do everything these days to prevent Against Marine Le Pen from taking over. But we'll see. This could, of course, backfire because we all know how this goes, unfortunately. Sometimes it could have the very opposite effect. Obviously, this is not what they're doing, right? Officially, it's the fund embezzlement that she is being charged with. But also the woman has been openly taking money from the Kremlin, so come on now. Come on now, we all know what Agent Marina is about. Yeah, there's gonna be some interesting things happening in the future. In Europe as well. I think there's already a very palpable push towards more, right-wing stuff. It's been ongoing for more than a decade at this point, right? There's been all of these threats. I keep wondering why normal people retire, but presidents can be senile old men. That's a very good question, and we'll never know we can guess, right? It's the ego thing, right? They think they are the best and they're irreplaceable and they can just go on forever because they're not. We are, this mere mortal humans. They are so special. They're so talented. They were chosen by God. And yeah, they can just go on forever. But it's mostly the ego thing, I feel like. They're just fueled by their massive egos. And in certain cases, if we look at the people like Putin, I use the word people very liberally here, Putin, and the likes of that, whatever that is, that mushroom men, it's also the survival thing for them, because they know that the moment they step away, they're dead. So there is no other way around for them. They're either in power or they're... So... and it's everyone else's problem, unfortunately, so... That's just the way things are. Okay, let's see what else have we missed. I think everything that I had bookmarked I have already discussed, but maybe there is something new, horrible that has happened. No, not Shmuel. No. The creme. No, it's okay. We've discussed everything. Anyway, let me know if there's anything else that you would... Oh, Ursula. I'm so sorry that Dmitry Medvedev knows about your existence. If there's anything else that you would like to discuss, any questions, let me know, you guys. I think we're gonna do like maybe 10-15 more minutes. But most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, I feel like I did talk about that. This thing. This is someone on Twitter saying, my favorite new account on TikTok is the woman who's very clearly just painted her dog, but has convinced some people she has managed to crossbreed an XL bully with a leopard. And there is the video of the poor dog. And the thing is, it's the same woman from the UK who went viral recently for saying, I am the owner of the only 24K gold Labubu. No, how does she say? Labubu. And it's the same woman. It's this very special breed of people that you guys get in the UK from time to time. And then you present and gift all of us in the world with these incredible individuals. And why would you paint your dog? Jesus. Poor dog. Oh, just why? Why would someone do something like this? And she's telling everyone it's a hybrid with the leopard, and I cannot do this. Anyway. Afraid if... Bardella. Yeah, that's Marine's protege. Yeah, and they're preparing... Who's the other guy? Attal, right? Gabriel Attal, who is like the... They're like Sasuke and Naruto of the French politics at the moment. Also, I get a lot of people shipping them. Wait, Gabriel Attal. How do you spell him? Yeah, that's Gabriel. That's him. Cute as a button. And, okay. Yeah, they were debating each other recently. And this is Marine Le Pen's Bardella. This is them. So yeah, apparently two according to some sources at least, two potential candidates for the next presidency. Who knows? It's up to the French people. But yeah, some of the rhetoric that, but then again, it's Marine Le Pen's party. Of course, they're spitting all of this nonsense. And I remember, what was it, last summer when they got all of these votes, and there were so many people scared, French citizens scared, because they were worried that they would have their citizenship taken away or something. So yeah, they're very good at fear mongering. As we all know, a lot of the right-wing parties are. This is their bread and butter. This is how they feed off of all of us, unfortunately. I'm afraid. I'm doing good, Dee. Thank you for stopping by. We're already wrapping everything up. But yeah, we've had, I think, quite a productive live today. A lot of jokes about everything. Some horrible things as well. But nice things too. So that's good. I know. Painted dogs. What has this world come to? What is happening? No, but honestly. No, not the flat earthers. Jeez. Oh, that's an entirely different breed of people. Goodness gracious. How do they even function? How do they function? I will never know. I will never know, everybody. But yeah, fear is an incredible tool of control. And this is what they use. Fear, delusion, lack of education, mix it all up. You get the people basically voting against their own best interests repeatedly. And also yelling at everyone else who tries to tell him, hey, maybe don't do that. You need this. You need these social programs. Your entire family is on welfare. No, okay. Okay. Whatever you say. Brie. Why Brie? Alright, everybody. I think we will be wrapping it up. Oh, Carol, you're just joining, and we're already wrapping everything up. Do you support refugees from war-torn African and Asian countries to what is a war-torn Asian country? Who is this? Okay. To immigrate to Ukraine after war. Is this one the Great Replacement? No! The African people and the Asian people coming to replace us. What are you trying to scare me, or what? What is the point of this? First and foremost, we will never have this issue, I don't know, fortunately or not, mostly because we are very poor and no one wants to come here. And also there is no end to war in sight, so this is just thing number one. Second of all, me personally, I have this little thing, I have this, I don't know if you've heard about this guy, but yeah, he kind of taught us, to love people, and... And when people ask for refuge, you have to support them. I know, it's disgusting. It's so not cool. But yeah, I tend to follow what he told me regarding these things, and I'm not entirely sure how some of you manage to present yourself as his followers and do the exact opposite of everything that he's ever said. So, but yeah, I've heard a lot of this rhetoric coming from these bizarre individuals who are like, this is it. This is the worst thing. The worst thing that's gonna happen to Ukraine is not the imaginary African and Asian immigrants that only exist in your mind, because no one is currently coming here. No one most likely will be coming here. The threat to Ukraine is the Russian invaders who are currently massacring our men and raping our women and also children and kidnapping our children and burning our fields and destroying our economy and destroying our infrastructure and destroying our cities. This is the very real threat, not the imaginary Africans who are gonna come or maybe not. I'm so tired. But yeah, let's do that. Let's fearmonger to each other about the imaginary migrants. And let's get just so scary and let's get so lost in our hatred that we will forget about the very real threat literally looking us in the eye. Because this is what a lot of you are currently doing from the right-wing movements all across Europe. all across the West. This is what you're doing. There's a real enemy with an AK-47 standing at your doorstep, and you're like, but the imaginary Africans that are gonna come to Ukraine in 15 years. My goodness gracious, I cannot do that. Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, no, we're not doing that, everybody. I was supposed to be wrapping up, and thank you, Furman. Thank you. Okay, one more quick look. This is what the map looks like right now. We have the air raid alert going in the south, so Mykolaiv, Kherson region, the drones. We have the Kyiv, Chernihiv, Sumy, Poltava, Kharkiv, also the drones, but in Kharkiv I think it's also the missile threat as well. Not sure. Something's happening in Luhansk, because something is always happening in Luhansk. There is the ongoing battlefield over there. Oh, I know, everybody. I know, they're on the rise. Oh, thank you, dear. Appreciate it. Thank you. No, it makes me so angry, especially when it's all of these like hypothetical, hateful scenarios, when you have the literal problem. No, this is not the problem. Of course it's not. It's the angry Asian people. Christ. Okay. Wait, what did I miss? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. That was the rant. I think the last rant of the day. I think the clashes continue. Last time I checked, the clashes continued. In Syria, meaning last time I was looking at the situation. And it's not looking promising. It looks like there's gonna be. It's just gonna unravel based on the communication that's been going. That was sent from the HTS, and also what Israel was saying, and it's the unraveling situation. We will have to keep an eye out on this. I haven't been. I deliberately didn't want to make like a segment out of this, because I don't want to speculate, and I also want to look a little bit deeper into this, because I'm not really the Middle Eastern studies type of person, so I'm now reading a lot about these things. Of course, I'm always keeping an eye out on Syria, because that Syria has a very special place in all of our hearts, and has had for a while. And yeah, we will be looking at this. We'll be looking at this, and hopefully next time I will get back to you guys, and hopefully with some good news too, because for now it's just a lot of chaos, especially in the south. Okay, so sorry for that. We will be doing this next time. All right, we will do a little segment regarding everything. All right, everybody. I think we should. Okay, and also what Russia spread in far right xenophobic theories and rhetoric. This is what they do. Yeah, this is a lot of their tactics are this way. The fear mongering. Something that will allow for you to get distracted and get mad at stuff like this, and not at the very real horrible crimes happening already, because a lot of these people claim to be these great defenders of Europe. There are horrible crimes on the European soil happening right now as we speak, but no, it's different. Let's worry about the imaginary Nigerians or something. All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you so much. I will be wrapping up for now, because oh no. Okay, guys. Yeah, I think it's time to call it a day, because I will continue going on rants, and no, nobody wants too much of that. Thank you for watching. The YouTube is right there if you would like to rewatch something, or if you would like to subscribe. I'm taking forever with the Borscht video. I will be posting it to YouTube hopefully soon. All of my other social media also in the bio if you're interested. Thank you for the support. You're all very much appreciated. Thank you, Mew. And thank you, Josh and Zoe and all of you, and Daydreamer and Loris. Mwah. Mwah, mwah, and Furman and the rest of you. We'll talk next time. I will post about the next stream on my Instagram, but most likely it's gonna be on Monday, okay? Mwah, everybody. Good night. Thank you, Carol. Mwah. Goodbye, you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. All right. Okay, we said goodbye to the TikTok peeps, and now we're saying bye-bye to YouTube as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, all of you who are still here looking at the map with me. I will catch you all later. Again, I'm thinking Monday, but I will let you all know, as always, on my Instagram story if something changes. So, take care. See you soon. Thank you so much, as always, for the support. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye. Mwah.